Since the start of this investigation, many people have been quick to blame Reed, even criticizing her. Yet this new report found she was actually following firearm safety protocols, but it was a different story for the company. Hannah Gutierrez Reed was in charge of securing guns on the set of Rust. She was often called young and inexperienced.
She was just expressing, like any young person going into the industry, getting in, that she's got some nerves, but that doesn't mean she's not capable of doing the job in a big way.
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, not anymore. I'm at the police station. Oh, I don't have a lawyer. Yeah. Okay. They were fucking dummies. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I checked them, they rattled. Maybe it was a primer cap or something. I don't know. I talked to Sarah, and Sarah said she checked the box and some didn't rattle. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't for me. All right. I love you. Bye.
That one is here. You're welcome. There's some creamer, a lot of sugar, and a stir in there.
Thank you.
Get started. Like, get you on our way. For the rest of the night. So, before we get started, you're here for an interview, and that's all we're doing right now. Okay, it's just interviewing what happened today, okay? Anytime when we interview somebody, especially when we do it here at the office, just so that you're aware of it, okay?
Okay, cool.
So we have here, we use forms. And that's what she had here, but I guess she went to go get them. So we're just going to get you those and go over them and then sign it, just formality we have to do, okay? Yeah.
Do you know if anyone ever got that fanny pack?
So right now it's technically inside the scene, so we can't quite grab it yet.
Okay, cool.
But you said it's black and gray?
No, it's just the gray one.
Just gray, okay. And it was on the cart?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be secured, and if it's not part of it, we'll get it back to you as soon as we can. So like I said, this is the rights that I just need to go over, and I'll read them to you as I do. If you understand them, you can signature or check out here, and then read the rest here, and if you agree, okay? So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in a court of law or other proceedings. You have the right to consult an attorney before making any statements or answering any questions. And you may have him or her present with you during questioning. You may have an attorney appointed to you to represent you if you cannot afford one, otherwise obtain one. Okay. You understand those? And if you wish to
I kind of would like an attorney.
You kind of like, what do you want to do?
I mean, just because the situation and everything, and their attorney already talked to me, and I just think I should probably have an attorney represent me.
Okay, before you make any statements or talk to us?
Well, I can probably answer a few questions. I mean,
so at any time, so I'm gonna, again, you don't have to talk to us, and if you want to talk to your attorney, that's fine. If you want to answer some questions, you still could change your mind during this questioning. So it's up to you. If you want to talk to us and at some point you feel like maybe you want your attorney, you can, but you need to make the decision on what you want to do right now. If you want to talk to us.
How long would it take when they get here, I guess?
It's going to be you calling them and finding out.
Really? Okay. I don't know, their fucking attorney, I don't know. It's just like such a big company, you know.
Are you talking about with the projection company?
Yeah. I don't want anything in this case to be fucked up for me as much as I possibly can.
So, no, you're fine. And that's why we go over these.
Yeah.
So you know your rights.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Is there an attorney I can call?
It would be a public defender. They might not, they might advise another day. It could go a longer process. I don't know.
All right. I can answer some basic questions.
If you want to answer some basic questions, we could do that. And then if you at some point feel like it's
right on, yeah.
And like I said, right now we are just interviewing you because you were there. You were there. You
totally
are in charge of the armor.
Okay.
So you're okay with talking with us?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start off with basic questions, okay? So you've already mentioned that you've been on set for 5 months now, on this particular set?
No, on this particular set I've only been there 2 weeks.
Okay. I'm sorry, do you want the date and time?
Oh, yeah, please.
It's going to be 21.
21.
And I'm so sorry. How do you spell your first name?
Hannah, Hannah.
And your last name?
Gutierrez, Gutierrez.
When's your date of birth?
April 28, 1997.
April
28.
97?
Yeah.
And how old are you?
24.
Well, I just want you to be comfortable when you're talking with us, okay? So this set, you've been here for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And this is, your primary job is handling the armor?
Yeah.
Can you go into detail about what you do?
I'm supposed to check the guns, and I load the guns, and I hand the guns off to the actor.
Okay. How long have you been doing this? Because you mentioned you've been on multiple sets.
Since about March, but I've been handling guns my whole life, pretty much.
So you're very familiar with guns. And this is your primary function. You go to different sets and you primarily handle these guns.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell us what happened today when you started work, when you got there to work?
Yeah, I went to work. We got the guns out.
Who's we?
Me, my coworker Sarah, she helps me with the guns a little bit too. Yeah. And we got the guns out, we went to set, we had the guns on set. I dummied the guns up with the dummy rounds. And yeah, we were on set all day. No, nothing happened, and then we came back from lunch, and that happened.
Okay. So you got on set with the gun, with the dummy rounds about what time?
Like 7:30 probably.
Around 7:30 this morning?
Yeah, I didn't dummy the gun up until about a little before lunch, like an hour before lunch.
Okay.
And we take all the guns and we lock them up for lunch.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You and Sarah, what's Sarah's last name, do you know?
Sarah's last name, I don't think she really worked with that gun that day, by the way. But Sarah Zachary, Z-A-C-H-R-Y.
Okay. But she was there today with you, helping you today, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you and Sarah, who has access to that? So when you got there this morning, where are the guns kept?
The guns are kept on the prop truck.
On the prop truck? And
Yeah, and the dummies and everything kept on the prop truck.
are the dummy rounds separate, contained than the gun, all in the truck?
Yeah, they're in their own box, and the guns are in the safe.
Okay. And who has access to the safe?
Sarah and I.
Just the two of you?
Yes.
What about the dummy rounds? Who has access to that?
Well, the dummy rounds, they were on the cart for lunch. Yeah, the dummy rounds were on the cart for lunch. All the ammo was on the cart for lunch.
Is there, okay, so you're saying dummy rounds and ammo, are there two separate things?
So there's blanks, my bad, not ammo, but there's blanks, you know, the blanks look different.
Okay.
They shoot the stuff, and the dummies normally just have a little BB in them.
Okay. What is the purpose for the dummy rounds? Because you were loading those up this morning
So
first.
the dummy rounds, they're meant to put in like the belts of the cowboys and everything, and like in the revolver you can see if it's empty or not.
Right.
So yeah, I have to dummy them up if they're gonna be like looking right at the camera.
Oh, okay, so you, just for show, the dummy rounds are just for show to make it look
Just
it's
for
full.
show, yeah.
Okay. But then the other rounds that you guys
The other
keep on
rounds,
seeing,
yeah, the other
shoot a
rounds,
BB.
yeah. They don't shoot a BB, no.
Oh.
No, they just shoot, like, they just open up and a little black powder comes out, and that's all. It's just a little black powder, and, yeah.
Is there live ammo that's kept on set?
No, never.
Okay.
So,
I hardly even go shooting with .45 ammo at all. I normally just use .22.
okay.
So,
And so you got the guns this morning. You and Sarah are the only ones who have, is it a combination for the safe?
it is, yeah.
Okay, and you guys are the only ones who have that combination?
Mhm.
Okay. But the rounds are...
They're in the truck, yeah. The truck gets pretty much locked up every night. I mean, not like padlocked, but just on set security.
Okay. Where do you guys have lunch? Does a lot of people just eat lunch there?
We all leave and we go back to base camp.
Okay. And you guys left the dummy rounds and the ammo, but it's not real ammo.
My bad, blanks. The
Blanks.
Yeah, we'll go with blanks.
I'll use blanks.
Yeah.
Just so I also don't mix up in the confusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, when you got the dummy rounds and the blanks this morning, what were you guys doing before lunch? Was that just
We were just
with the dummies only, just...
Yeah, just the dummies.
Gotcha.
We were just about to get into the blank stuff, and you know, like part of my job is checking the barrel to make sure nothing's in it, because that's how Brandon Lee died. You know.
Yes, yeah, right.
So like that's what I checked for. I definitely checked this morning, and I was planning on checking again right after lunch, before we got into all the shits, and I already started checking the other two guns to check in the thing for them, and none of them had any barrel obstructions. So, yeah.
So you check the gun, but do you check the blanks and the dummies as well?
I do check the dummies. I shook all of them, and they all they all showed that they were not hot, I guess you could say.
How can you tell the difference on the ammo, on the dummy rounds, or the blanks, I'm sorry. How can you tell the difference from the blanks and live, real ammunition?
A little ring. Like there's a little ring in there, just rings, it rattles, like a little rattle.
When it's a blank?
Yeah, and then also there's ones that I have with holes in the side to show that there's nothing in them.
Okay. So what are these ones? They're the rings?
Yeah, these ones were the rings. There was one, I think, with a hole. Yeah.
Okay. And you put the gun before going to lunch back in the safe?
Yeah.
But the blanks and dummies were left on the cart?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you, when you got back, did they look moved or tampered with or touched when you got back from lunch?
They did not. No, nothing seemed out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Was the gun still in the safe after lunch?
Yeah.
Who pulled it out?
Sarah pulled it out and she handed it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you watched her?
Yeah.
Mine, where I'm trying to get with is because you can handle the gun, you obviously are going to be loading the gun, so that's where I'm concerned about the dummy and the blanks, because those were left out. And is there some way that somebody can alter them to make them still look like your dummy rounds?
Well, so that's the thing is that, like, bullets, like real bullets, pretty much look the same as dummies. The only difference is the rattle. And so, yeah, that's a choice, but also, I don't know, I'm kind of wondering, because I heard back in the day, dummies used to have, like, a primer cap. So I'm wondering if maybe it was one of those older ones or something like that.
Did you load them after lunch?
They were already loaded from before lunch.
Okay.
And so that's the thing is, like, you know, we had that gun the whole time before that, and nothing happened, and I wasn't in there, and they weren't supposed to be even pulling the hammer back.
So, okay, all right, let me just clarify a little bit. So prior to lunch, the guns, you had them out?
Yeah.
And where were they when they were out?
They were inside with all the camera crew and everything. It's, you know, COVID, everything happening right now. They don't really like a lot of people in there.
Okay.
And so usually I'm, like, hardly allowed in there unless there's actual firing happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you inside this morning?
I walked in there and I handed the gun to Alex a couple of times, and Alec took it, and everyone was there with him.
Alec?
Alec.
Okay.
Baldwin, yeah.
Baldwin? Okay, so you handed him the gun this morning. Yeah. Does he pass it off to anybody, or were you able to see that?
At one point, Dave had it, the assistant director, but he was just sitting in with it, and then I saw him, and I was like, okay, this is fine. He's just sitting in, and then I walked out, and yeah.
And how do you know that Dave had it?
I handed it off to Dave while he was sitting in for the shot.
Okay. All right, so you guys were the only 3 handlers prior to lunch?
Alec, Dave, me. Dave was after lunch.
Okay.
Dave was after lunch. Yeah, that should have been the only ones. Maybe Sarah possibly, but yeah. Because that's the thing, they chill on our little table, and we're pretty much there all the time.
Okay. And then, so prior to lunch, did they do any scenes or anything of the sort where they were firing the weapon?
No.
Okay.
Nothing before lunch.
Handling.
Yeah, we were just supposed to get into it right after that. Like, literally, that was the last shot before we actually got into blanks.
Okay.
And those blanks were already loaded in before lunch?
No, the blanks are different than dummies. So, yeah, blanks, totally different. They actually have, like, ignition and powder and everything. Dummies, no powder, just for looks.
Just for looks, right?
Yeah.
So so I think everything was after lunch then. So after lunch, you get back, and that's when you loaded a dummy round. I mean, the blanks.
No blanks were loaded.
No, like
All
no
the
dummy today.
Yeah, no blanks were loaded today. I was like getting ready for it. I had my fanny pack like full of like blanks and everything, but.
Okay. So when was the last time you loaded it?
I loaded it so I loaded it with 5 of the dummy rounds before lunch, and there was one that wouldn't go in. And so when we got back from lunch, I took the like little cleaner guy, I cleaned it out really quick, and I put another dummy in there.
Okay. So there were 5 total in the gun.
Yeah.
Can you describe?
6. There was 6. 5, yeah. When the incident occurred, yeah, there was 6.
Okay. Can you describe the gun?
It's a Colt. It's a long barrel Colt.
It's a long barrel?
Mhm.
And 6 rounds fit in it?
Yeah.
What color?
A bronze?
Is it bronze?
Yeah, they're brass. Yeah, kind of bronze, brassy.
What, caliber?
It's 45.
Okay. And that was the only one that was used today?
No, the other 2 were used too.
Okay. What
Yeah.
do those look like?
Those are both 45. I think they're either Colts or U-Birdies, 45s, and yeah, the 2 other characters had them.
Okay. And they're revolver looking?
Yeah, they are revolvers.
But the long barrel was the one that was used during the incident, just to be clear.
Yes, the long barrel one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The other 2 were on the actors, and those were fine.
Okay, those are kind of like for show, pretty much,
Yeah.
for holsters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, they took them out and they had them on camera too, and yeah.
Okay. Do you know, what time did you go to lunch?
Maybe about 12:30. Pretty much on the dot.
And then, so after that, Sarah pulled them out.
Yeah.
Did you see her, check them, or did she just hand them to you and that's when you checked around?
She just handed us, we took them in the bag to the set, so we didn't check them there. They're in little, like, little socks.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do those look like?
Little socks. They look like socks.
All right.
Yeah. They honestly look like socks, yeah.
Okay. And so when you checked it, it was on set or prior to you transporting?
Yeah, it was on set. I didn't really check it too much after lunch, because it was already locked up and everything at lunch. But yeah, I checked it and put in that last round and sent it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that you had said something about keeping stuff in your fanny pack.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's a little fanny pack. It has a lot of pockets, so it's really cool to, like, separate, like, the dummies from the blanks, but it's mostly to separate, like, the blank sizes, because there's quarter loads, there's half loads, and then there's full loads. And I usually don't keep any full loads out there unless I need them, but I usually keep quarter loads and half loads right here. So if it's close up to an actor, we use a quarter load, and if it's farther away from an actor, we go ahead and we use halves.
Okay. So what's the reasoning for that?
Just the halves have more smoke and they look more real.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty much for...
Like if it was a bigger gun, like a
stuff.
rifle or something. Yeah.
So you keep
Or if it's outdoors, But mostly it's the quarters, just in case they're closer proximity to an actor, Or if it's inside quarters, or if it's around an animal or a child, quarters.
Okay. And then you had said that they're only supposed to pretty much expel dust or smoke, right?
Yes.
Okay. Were you inside when the incident occurred?
No, I was right outside by my, my, cart.
Okay. How close was it?
About 15, 20 feet from being inside.
Okay. What side of the building was done?
So the building, like the door is facing, I don't know my north and west.
So is it where the cross is? Is that the main door?
So our cars were?
Where the door, where they were like coming in and everything, that door, we were like right adjacent to that, to the left.
Okay. Could you
Yeah.
see inside at all?
No, not really. No, I couldn't see inside.
What do you remember about?
Basically, I just like, you know, we had a couple of, like we had a popper pop last week. You know, the poppers are for special effects. Like one just went off randomly last week. So I was like, oh, it must be a popper. And like, you know, I checked all of them myself. So I heard like the shot and Sarah was like, what was that? And I was like, must have been a popper. And I like turned around and then I heard them say medic emergency. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I like checked in and I like looked and I saw Alec on the ground and I was like, oh, not Alec, Joel. And I was like, what the fuck, was it the gun? And Dave was like, yeah, it was the fucking gun. And so I was like, I walked in and I like tried to see what was happening or like where the gun was, you know, to secure the weapons on set. And I got yelled at, and I ran out, and Dave brought me the gun, and I opened the gun up, and one of the dummies somehow had been discharged.
And can you kind of explain a little bit more what you mean by that it was discharged?
So if I had a bullet, wait, I have some dummies. So, right, check these out. I wish it had just been one of these. But see how these have like the hole?
Okay.
And this one doesn't have a primer, right? Okay. And most of them, like, they have like the primers, but the primers aren't like hot. Like, I've never had one with a hot primer before.
Okay.
So that seems pretty weird to me. But so basically this part, when a bullet shoots, the fire projects it, and this comes out, this little piece right here, this little nipple. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so when I had checked the gun, this part, that was gone.
Did you get to see the shell?
I saw the shell, yeah, and it's on the thing.
Did it have one of the, did it look like this, or was it different?
It didn't have the hole, it didn't have that. So, I mean, it had that, and it didn't have the hole. And this was gone, so it was just the shell.
So it kind of looked
just the cartridge.
Just the regular, like, cartridge when it's shot.
Yeah.
So these ones are dummy, or because they have the hole.
Yeah.
So that one didn't have a, so it looked like a realistic one when you saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What about your blanks?
What about them?
What's the difference between a blank and that?
You know, I don't think I could show you, but the blank is very different. And you would absolutely be able to tell the difference just by looking at it. So basically, the end here where this is gone, the projectile is gone in the blanks basically. This is squeezed shut. Like, you know, it's filled with like a little bit of gunpowder, like I said, either quarter, half load, or full load. It's filled with a little bit of black powder, and it's opened by the metal part just going, so it just, so nothing flies out of those.
Okay. So this is pretty much what looked like what was in the gun.
This is 100% what was in the gun, except without that.
Okay.
And with the primer, but the primer normally is on there anyways for a lot of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not as well.
No, it's not. A lot of them have the primer, so that way you can like see them in the belt and they look real.
Okay.
But a lot of them also have the primer in a hole, and that one didn't have a hole.
All right. So you had said when So how did you end up getting the gun after?
I went in there, they yelled at me, I ran out, and I was like, can I see the gun? And they brought me the gun, and I opened it, and we checked it, and the very first one that I like, because, you know, once you shoot it, the next one in a revolver, it'll be that one, and first one I pulled out didn't have that.
Okay. Did you get to see any of the others?
The others all had, yeah, I took them all out. They're on the cart, too. They all had rings, and they all had holes, and I don't understand why that one did not.
And, I'm sorry, explain again what the ring is?
So, imagine if
Oh, okay, so just a noise.
So that's what I'm saying. So this one is exactly what it looked like was in there.
Okay. And that one doesn't have any holes.
So that's, yeah. Honestly, that box of dummies might have some wonky ones in it. And we got that, I think, a week ago.
Who ordered them?
Well, we got them from from Seth, our, supplier and everything.
Okay.
But Seth borrowed them from someone. I don't know who.
Borrowed the runs that you have?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how do you know he borrowed them?
I don't know. That's what Sarah said. And then as soon as Sarah called Seth, I don't know. I don't know if she talked to him or anything about this.
Okay.
You mean today, if she called him today and already talked to him, or when?
I know she called him, but I didn't get to hear the police officer told her to stop talking to me.
Okay.
So I don't really know what happened with that. But yeah, so.
Okay. Are you aware of a time or know if something like that can be dysfunctional or?
I mean, overall, these are some weird, what we're dealing with are explosives. There's always a chance of safety to be compromised, and that's the issue, and that's what I'm supposed to watch out for on set, and yeah.
Okay.
But I've never really I've heard of blanks before with the primer, that's the only time I've ever heard of them, which is why I'm wondering if it was kind of one of the older ones, because that kind of stopped after that whole Brandon Lee situation, but I'm not really sure.
So Seth orders all of your rounds.
Yes.
And is there anybody else that's involved in that?
I couldn't really say.
Okay.
I just get what I get, and I'm told not to bitch a fit. Yeah.
Do you know who the manufacturer is of these?
No.
Do you know what the box looks like?
Yeah, there's the box is on the cart.
Okay.
It says dummy rounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else do you know about that? Just that that's ordered them, or?
No, Seth is, he's had armor on for The Walking Dead.
Okay.
He was on that show for 10 years.
So he's also familiar about getting these.
Yeah, Seth is, he pretty much is teaching me everything, other than my father.
Has anyone ever allowed live ammo on set?
No one.
Okay. What's your guys' protocol for the ammo?
Protocol.
What do you have in place? Are you supposed to check them every day? How often?
Basically, our protocol for the ammo is, I have to know load sizes, I have to know, who's in the proximity, if it's a child, if it's a horse. And my protocol really is a lot of checking for barrel obstructions, mostly because that's where a lot of mistakes get made, is, just a blank behind something, and a lot of guns get thrown into, dropped in rocks, and rocks get into the barrel and fly out and shit. So my shit is mostly just checking the barrel and everything, and then making sure the dummies are dummies. Yeah, and I've never really had any that didn't sound like dummies.
Okay.
When you looked at the gun, when Dave brought it back to you after the incident, did it look like it was the same gun when you handed it to Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I would be able to tell too by the circling markings on the bottom of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember what those markings are?
They're kind of like little fingernail marks, but like a little more dented.
Okay. How much time? Okay, so how many guns were pulled out after lunch?
Like 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause Miller has 2. Maybe, wait. Miller has 2, the 2 officers have 2, and then Rust has 1, and then there's 3 long guns out, so.
Okay, sorry. Miller has 2, the officers have 2.
Yeah.
Who else?
Rust has 1. That was the one that was discharged. And, yeah. And then we had 3 long guns that were on the cart. A shotgun and 2 shotguns and a rifle.
And you're in charge of watching all of these?
Yeah.
2, 4, hold on, 3, 8, okay. And you said Rust?
Yes. Rust is the character. He's ALEC Baldwin.
Okay. And you handed it directly to him? Or did you hand it to Dave?
I handed it to Dave after lunch.
Or then Dave gave it to...
Yeah.
Do you
ALEC was in there.
Do you know who all was inside the building during the incident?
Some new camera people we got. Our camera crew just quit last night.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole fucking crew except for like 1 dude that stayed. Yeah, and then the DP, the director.
Do you know anybody's name?
Helena is the DP. She got shot. The director is Joel.
And
He got shot.
I'm sorry, so DP?
Director of photography.
Okay. And that was Helena?
Mm-hmm.
Helena?
I'm not really sure how to spell it. It's kind of Russian.
Do you know her last name?
No.
And you said Joel, and he's another director?
Yeah, Joel.
And you said that he was also shot?
Yeah, which is just fucking mind-boggling to me. Yeah, both of them got shot.
How many rounds or...
I heard one.
You just heard one?
I heard one. So it must have went through one and somehow hit the other. Which is fucking insane.
Okay. Do you know anybody else that was inside?
I don't. I wasn't there.
Well, obviously,
yeah.
ALEC, right?
Yeah, ALEC was inside. Fuck yeah. God, I hate myself for that.
And what about Dave?
Yeah, Dave was inside.
Do you know Dave's last name?
It's on the call sheet. This is, like, so awful. Dave Halls.
Halls?
Yeah, and I got the Helena Hutchins. Halyna. And then Hutchins.
She was another person that was in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
So I
her,
have Helena, Joel. Do you know Joel's last name?
Joel Souza, Souza.
Okay. ALEC, Dave, anybody else inside?
Well, her Steadicam operator was inside. His name is Reid Russell, Reid Russell. He's a camera guy.
Okay.
Am I gonna...
Are you done with all the people that was inside?
Everyone that she can think of. She wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not think all this just because, and I don't care about north or that, but, so where we were parked, here's the back of the church, that was
Where?
the front.
The cars where you were parked?
Yeah, we were parked over here. So the church, across the main entrance to that would have been over here. We were parked over here.
Okay, yeah.
Where was your car? Because I don't think there was doors here or on this side of the building.
So there was a door here,
Okay.
and my cart was approximately over here by a little black tent where producers or fucking cats or anyone would chill under, really.
Okay, and then that door's over here. So can you see the front, that door from where you were standing?
Yeah.
And you could see Dave the whole time on his way
On his way
to, because you.
Well, no, I went
past
inside to hand him the gun.
Oh,
he
you
was
went inside to hand
sitting,
him
he
the
was
gun.
standing in pretty much.
Okay, so you didn't just hand it and then he walked off? And then
No, yeah,
so you
I handed it to Dave with the camera people there.
Okay, so you were close to the door when you handed it?
I was inside for a second, and then I went back out because, yeah.
They tell you to get out?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
I'm just curious because of the whole transferring from one person to another of the gun.
Yeah.
So he's the one who gives it directly to ALEC. Here's a picture, and I just want to see if this is something that would have come out of one of these.
Totally.
It wouldn't be a real live gun, ammo.
So that looks like a blank one, which I'm pretty sure, because normally the blank ones, like, they have kind of this little line right there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure the regular ones don't.
Okay.
So that looks like that would be in the blanks all the time.
Okay. That was what was pulled out of the shoulder.
Oh my God, poor Helena.
So that's why they were thinking it could be an actual live round at this point.
Really?
Yeah. Does that look like it would have been a live round to you?
Well, honestly, if we had my extractor, we could pull this out and check it, but I don't know.
Actually make a phone call on that.
Yeah, I don't know, because look at that line. That's kind of a distinct thing. I think that's mostly for dummies.
Okay. Hold on.
That might be a regular live round, though.
It looks pretty, that's what they were thinking, it could be a live round.
Holy fuck.
No, I just think you said, and I think that's why there's protocol because of Lee, when all that happened on set too. Was there anything that stuck out of ordinary today to you?
No, I mean, just the whole camera crew quit. That's all. So we were, like, super behind and everything.
When did the camera crew quit?
Yesterday.
So is there a reason?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't think that they would be involved in that.
Well,
Yeah.
is there because maybe people were disgruntled?
Oh, there was some bickering. But I don't, yeah. I highly doubt that they were able to switch any rounds, and especially getting a 45 round is, like, stupid hard right now.
Mm-hmm.
And at least, yeah.
Was there any of that towards Joel, or did anybody have any issues with Joel, and what was the other one name?
I don't believe anyone had issues with Joel.
Okay. What was
Helena.
Helena.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know too much about her. She's definitely a strong personality, that's all.
But there's nobody that you could think of that might have any anger?
I couldn't really say that anyone would be, like, that angry. Like, you know, we're on a film set. Everybody's always pissed off at each other a little bit. We're together for 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard to not beef with people a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's kind of interesting that the whole camera crew quit yesterday, and then
That is pretty
something happens like this today. Would somebody want to maybe or they could even have an issue without, if somebody wants to disrupt the filming of this movie.
Mhm.
Is that something that you could think of?
I don't know. I can't really say for sure, and I wouldn't want to think that about anybody on that set personally.
You really don't want to think that about anybody.
Never.
But
no.
unfortunately,
yeah, I can't think of like any one person. I couldn't really think of a situation that would require like, you know, I don't know, almost killing somebody.
Mhm. Well, I mean, it happened. I mean,
Yeah.
you keep mentioning it was what, The Crow, when that happened.
Yeah, that was scary,
So,
man.
These things happen with somebody.
I know, I can't believe I'm like the last thing like this to happen since The Crow.
And
my
it's
own fucking worst nightmare.
unfortunately. Well, I think right now they're good, but see, and that's why, unfortunately, you're there right away. It's like, oh, it's the person who is in charge of all these.
Totally.
And that's why we wanted to talk to you, as one of the main ones, because yeah, you're in charge of it, but that's also why would you put yourself in that predicament?
Yeah.
You know, so would it be possible?
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe there was just perhaps a bad round in that box.
Well, a couple of bad rounds.
Possibly.
Because there wasn't one round that went off.
What? There was one, right?
How did two people get shot?
No, so there was only one round that went off, and I must have went through Joel somehow and fucking hit Helena, and I'm like flabbergasted by this. I can't fucking imagine how that happened, but I heard one shot.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard one shot, and honestly, like, I opened up the gun, I checked the rest of them, only one of these was gone, and the rest were fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I wish we could. This one has a different top than this one. This one that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're all, I mean, like, you know, they all kind of vary a little bit. That's just the thing about them. They all vary a little bit, yeah.
Tell me about what happened yesterday. Did something happen, or did they just walked off set and said they
I have
quit?
no idea. I think at the end of the night, they all quit. The camera crew always bickered a lot, to be honest. Like, a lot of, I don't know, just animosity, I guess, or them with the grips, everybody, yeah, that whole, it's almost unpleasant to be inside there, just because it's so, like, toxic. Yeah. So, COVID, yeah, I try to stay out, and then I was definitely on the sides watching, and they weren't supposed to be pulling the hammer back or anything. Like, it was just supposed to be in the shot, and so I don't know
why it was pulled back.
I don't know what, yeah. I mean, if they wanted it pulled back, like, that's fine. I had no idea about it, you know. But even then, it shouldn't have gone on. Yeah, so that's why I was all like, okay, like, it's right there, you know. I stand right by whenever there's gunfire. I'm still there whenever the shit's there, but I'm not usually directly inside the room just because they don't find it necessary.
Yeah. Well, and that's why it's like, they're not supposed to pull the hammer back, but it still is a prop gun or prop.
It's a real gun. It's a real fucking gun.
But your prop.
Yeah.
The set.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally. I know. I don't know. I wish I would have checked it more.
Is there anything that you think could have happened?
I have no idea. I don't know. Like I said, that box was chilling there for lunch. I will say it is hard to get .45 ammo. You know, ammo's super expensive right now, and ever since the election, pretty much all ammo has been, like, bought up a ton. I'm sure you guys know as a police force.
Yeah. So, I was just thinking, you had mentioned when you were loading, dumbing it up, one of the 6 rounds didn't fit in, correct? And you had to clean it.
Yeah.
Did that seem odd to you?
You know, no, that didn't really seem that odd. That gun had been dropped a lot in the dirt previous before that. Yeah. So it might have just been a little gunky. And then after I cleaned it out, like, it fit right in.
Okay.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Does that usually happen?
Does that usually happen? I mean, every now and then. Every now and then. Yeah.
You didn't think that it could have been the round itself that was the reason why it was initially given?
You know, I don't think so, because, like, these are dummies and everything, and they slide out a little easier, per se, but, yeah, I don't think that would have been a thing. Sometimes they do just get stuck because, like, the guns are a little dirty.
Okay. Other than that, everything else seemed normal with the rounds.
Everything else seemed status quo, and I thought today was going to be another, like, super great day, and that we were done shooting after this, and it's going to be smooth sailing.
Okay. So the picture of the round that I showed you, you think it could have been from the dummies?
Yeah. Honestly, I can't remember really if I got, if they were from the box or if they were from, on top of we have a cart, you know, and we have several dummies just around. Some come out of the box, but they're all out of boxes, really, like, you know. But yeah, might have just been one of the ones on the cart. But it should be, yeah.
And that's your car? Nobody else puts anything else on it?
Not really. I mean, you know,
but it is possible.
It is possible.
A lot of people have access to your car.
Yeah.
So, as you're loading it, do you do and check every single time?
Yeah.
Every round?
Yeah.
And you did it on this time, too?
I did it.
Okay. But that one round, you weren't sure if it was fresh out of the box or just laying on the cart?
Honestly, I don't think, like, if it didn't rattle, I wouldn't have put it in.
Okay. And so you heard the rattle? Okay.
Yeah, I checked all 6 of them for a rattle.
Okay. It's just really, I mean, incidents, I guess, sometimes happen, but just that the whole crew quits the day before and then something like this happens.
I don't know. I totally feel like this was just a fucking really fucked up accident.
And that's how you feel?
Yeah. I wouldn't think that anyone on that film set is that malicious.
I mean, I just have to ask you.
Yeah, no,
because
totally.
it is something.
Well, yeah.
Okay. What about Sarah? How much do you know about her? How long have you worked with her?
She's like the nicest little Christian girl ever.
Okay.
We're gonna an extractor and an armor.
Okay. So
an extractor?
Yeah.
For those?
Yeah. So I'm gonna take
them.
one of these real quick,
cool.
okay?
Totally.
I'll be back in just a minute. And so just to be clear, the one that you had seen, that you had pulled out, looks like which one?
Mostly like that one.
Okay. With
yeah, except when I saw it, it was punctured.
So it wasn't missing it
when I took it out. Yeah, it was punctured. So.
Okay, we're gonna have you come in here, okay? Unless you have anything else that you think you missed or want to add. I am going to hold on to these, okay? Actually, I'm going to hold on to that.
Okay.
Just one more clarification. When you got the gun backhanded to you, had someone already opened it too, or you did all the manipulating of it?
I did all the manipulating.
Dave just literally just handed you the gun.
Just handed it to me.
And it was still closed?
It was still closed.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Yeah, you want to grab that? There's a trash right there.
Yeah, thank you.